Battalion has used the leader bonus. Combat shielding bonus activated. Our forces are under escort of a leader. Enemy forces are being protected with combat shields.
Obi-Wan Kenobi here. I've engaged the enemy.
They're flanking us!
We can't afford to keep losing command posts. The enemy is in control of another command post. We can't keep losing men like this.
Feel the force.
We've captured a command post. We control the command post. Enemy reinforcements are declining. We've lost control of the command post. Watch your flank.
This is going better than I expected.
Hostiles have captured a command post. We've gained a command post. They're losing reinforcements. We've lost a command post. The enemy is in control of another command post. We've captured a command post. Enemy reinforcements are declining.
This is going better than I expected.
We can't afford to keep losing command posts. We control the command post. They're losing reinforcements. They've already lost. They just don't know it. We've lost control of the command post. We've captured a command post. They're losing reinforcements.
What are you doing? Trooper!
We've gained a command post. Hostile reinforcements are dropping. The rebellion has accepted credits for freeing Mustafar.
Ecta tank bonus activated.
Select a bonus for this battle. The rebellion has used the leader bonus. Enemy forces have received Bacta injections. Our leader is on the battlefield. Hostiles have captured a command post. We can't keep losing men like this.
Watch those blasters! They're all over!
We're losing reinforcements. We're taking heavy losses. Lost the scum. We've lost control of the command post. We've gained a command post. The enemy has captured a command post. The enemy is in control of another command post. Our reinforcements are being depleted. We've lost control of the command post. We're losing reinforcements. Hostiles have captured a command command post. Cut them off! We gained a command post. We're losing reinforcements.
Look out!
We can't keep losing men like this.
Nice throw! I'm taking you down, plastic boy!
Take him out! Band together. We can still win. We've lost the command post. We can't keep losing men like this. Hostiles have captured a command post. We can't keep losing men like this.
Look out!
Yavin 4 is lost. All fleets awaiting orders, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Twin Suns Foundation podcast. I am your host, Aussie Evie. Before I introduce my team, I want to introduce you to a new segment on the show, Question of the Cast, where I will ask you a question at the beginning of the cast and we will discuss it later. Today's question is, if you wanted to change one single item within the Expanded Universe timeline, what would it be and why? Give us your answers in the chat and we'll talk about it later in the show. Joining me today is Brian Borg. How are you today, Brian?
I am alive in here.
You're alive.
Generally a good thing, helps me actually project a voice that hopefully isn't broken up throughout the podcast this time.
And Dylan Kling. How are you today, Dylan?
If we didn't lose him.
Dylan?
Yep, we lost him.
Alright.
I'm sure he'll jump back in later.
Okay, so let's move on to news.
All right, news. So yes, we actually have some good news. I was kind of afraid that this was Dylan, as he was going to be covering one of our major news objects. So I'll just kind of start on the other ones. But basically, we kind of want to go over some of the good EU news that has hit the internet over the last few weeks or so. The first of which being the Crispin Barnes and Noble hardcover Han Solo trilogy I saw. I think that was just announced this morning. But they're doing an exclusive Barnes and Noble version of the Han Solo trilogy coming out here pretty soon.
Hang on, Brian.
Go
Welcome
ahead.
back, Dylan.
Hello. Yeah, my laptop is being not cooperative, so I'm on my phone now. Hopefully this works better.
Let's hope it doesn't kill your phone. I skipped straight to the Han Solo trilogy. Did you guys see a release date on that? Because I did not see a release date on that.
No, I just thought that it was on Barnes and Noble. Also, I guess we should cite our sources. Thanks to Continue the Star Wars Legends universe for finding this. They're usually really good about finding all this information, so you can follow them. Yeah, let me see the release date because it's on the Barnes and Noble website.
Right. Right. While he's doing that, we also had a new Legend story released, actually. It was a short story out of the Old Republic universe there. What was it called? Trading Scars, I believe. A short story on Umbara. I kind of glanced over it. It's not that long of a story. It looks like it's almost a story of somebody telling stories. And one of them being a companion character, though I didn't recognize that one. I suppose that's on me, though, for not having played the game a lot recently. We had two other things to go over as well. You had kind of really fun news that sent me straight to the shopping cart. You had Fantasy Flight announce that they were releasing a 30th anniversary version of the West End Games tabletop RPG game. And that's one I never had anything from, and I know those books are extremely well sought after right now, so it was kind of exciting to see that coming out later this year, I believe it was. And the last one was actually something I was going to let Dylan go over real briefly. We had some new X-Wing miniatures coming out, right, Dylan?
Yeah, so Gen Con was last weekend, so usually it's a lot of it's the, I guess, Comic-Con of board games. So, yeah, Fantasy Flight announced a lot of stuff. For Legends fans in particular, they announced Wave 12 of their miniatures game X-Wing, which has 3 ships. One is from the Star Wars Rebels, which I don't know if any of you would care about. But the other 2 would be the Alpha-class Star Wing from the X-Wing and TIE Fighter video games. And I'm pronouncing the ML-2 Kamagia Heavy Fighter, which is from the Star Wars Galaxies. So yeah, 2 expanded universe ships. No release date on when Wave 12 will come out, but we do have that they are being released.
I'm not familiar with the latter, but I know the gunboat was one of my favorites when I was playing TIE Fighter.
And then
felt a little bit like
the hardcover. Sorry, Barnes & Noble Collector's Edition Han Solo Trilogy hardcover will be available October 20th of this year.
Oh, nice. October 20th. I'll jot that down. That might be one I have to run and go get. I think that was everything we had for new news items. It's actually a lot more than I would expect for us in the last few weeks, but great to see.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a busy month for us then, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
And go into next segment.
Next segment. Differing opinions. Is it
Differing
possible to have an opinion that is different from someone?
You mean that's a thing? You can do that?
Apparently.
Do you know the current year, Gordon?
So, Gordon, correct me if I'm wrong, but where did this come up? I think this came up after a Facebook discussion that you were having that kind of brought about the idea of discussing differing opinions, did it not?
Yes. As most people watching this show know, I run a personal blog. It's not a fan page. It's a personal blog called Legends Never Die. And as you might guess from the name, it's about Star Wars Legends. That's
most of the time.
50% of the content I post is Star Wars Legends.
When it doesn't go off on a Warcraft tangent.
The discussion the other day, a couple of weeks back now actually, was regarding somebody thought that I'd have to expand or else I'll just disappear. And I said, it doesn't interest me. The new canon does not interest me. And I'm not alone. I mean, Matt Wilson doesn't interest him. Other people on Facebook and YouTube, it doesn't interest them.
Our own team is actually pretty diverse when it comes to opinions on the new canon, Disney's canon, however you want to label it. And Star Wars Legends, you have people who are like Gordon, who just have no interest in the newer stuff coming out at all. You've got people like myself who would be interested if they were giving Legends a chance to. I would give the Disney stuff a chance to see if it's anything I'd be interested in. And then you have people, like, for instance, Dennis, I know on our team. Dennis is definitely into both canons. So definitely have a lot of different opinions within our own organization. We seem to get along just fine. Nobody's tried to kill each other that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm getting a completely different vibe with, how the chat goes. The particular one at Modicon that we've gravitated towards.
Yes,
I don't know where we're getting this. We don't want to kill each other from.
Well, that's actually generally we take out our frustrations on the website since that's where it stems from. Technology and violence, right?
It has a lot of meanings now. It's evolved past. It's intended meaning.
Very, very true. Suppose that's more of an inside joke that we probably don't want to pervert everybody to, and that's listening to this. So we'll try to keep you all semi-sane, unlike the rest of us. But no, differing opinions. I mean, what else did you want to say on that, Gordon? I mean, aside from it is possible to have different opinions without tearing each other apart.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because during that conversation, the person on the other end just did not seem to comprehend that it wouldn't entertain me. I'd be bored. I've got no interest in it. I even tried comparing it to other things, and they still didn't get it. And the thing that annoys me the most is the intolerance of different opinions around the Star Wars fandom.
Well, they do seem to be the more vocal ones. I get the feeling that there are a lot of people that aren't that way. A lot more people that aren't that way than there are people that are that way, that have a very stubborn opinion and that think, for lack of a better way of putting it, that their way is the way everybody ought to think. I mean, when you think about it, the real reason why they're trying to get you to introduce yourself to this newer stuff is because they're hoping that you'll like it, that they'll have somebody else that'll like it, that they can, talk to enjoy it with. I'm assuming that's where it mostly comes from. There might be a few that
For
don't
some
have
people
such
it is, but
potential.
other people can't seem to comprehend that not everyone likes the same stuff they do.
No, and
And,
not everybody's going to think that way.
Yeah.
something that I feel the fandom, the entire Star Wars community should be working towards is tolerance of different opinions. If I'm an expanded universe fan, am I still a Star Wars fan?
That depends on who you talk to, Gordon.
Exactly, and that's the problem, isn't it?
But no, I mean, yeah, I think that's what it really does boil down to, that you have to have a willingness to allow other opinions to exist, because you really have no control over what other people think. It is their opinion. They're completely entitled to it. And if it's different than yours, oh well, maybe you can even learn something from it.
Hmm.
That said, I have seen it go in the other direction too that I'm not too happy about.
How so?
Well, as I said, I'm not interested in the new canon itself, but there are quite a lot of people within the EU segment of the fandom that are interested, and there has been quite a bit of intolerance from, let's say, the purists, the EU purists, which I don't deny that I'm kind of like that too, but I don't dismiss somebody just because they like the new canon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sides, for lack of a better term, there is no real black and white, because side has their detractor, definitely hurt either side of the debate's opinion overall, and really murks up the message, too, which is why I thought it was kind of important that we took such a strong stand as Twin Suns Foundation, as being, we wanted more of all Star Wars. Not just one, not just the other, all Star Wars.
Exactly.
That way, everybody would have something to look forward to. But, yeah, no, I get that. I agree. There's definitely a problem there. Do you have anything to add to that, Dylan?
Not really. Like to address some of the chat's been, at least on the YouTube side's been chiming in on this a bit. I've been watching the feed a little bit. Captain Wilhelm, I'm kind of actually the same way. Not really a casual curiosity to the new canon, more of just I'm kind of unwillingly subjected to new canon a lot, and I kind of just take it as, okay, this happening, and I more use it as to sense gauge where the fandom is, which I think I have a pretty good idea of, what is generally liked and disliked and what is objectively good and bad that people think. And Black Hole, again, in our own chat, clearly the opposite. I don't bother with it at all. I can completely see that side too. I really can see any side that you would take. It's just people's interests are different. So as long as, and we've said this from the beginning, as long as, my opinion is, as long as you are for the cause of continuing the expanded universe, I don't really have a problem with what you enjoy.
Right. Just as long as you're not trying to interrupt somebody else's enjoyment, I'm generally going to agree.
Yeah, exactly. And something else I want to talk about is how I've lost my train of thought, sorry.
Well, we can always come back to it.
Yeah. Anyway, I do agree with Black Hole 77. To be honest, I haven't touched Star Wars in quite a while because there's nothing coming out that interests me. I'm not interested in the Old Republic, as we talked about last episode. And other than that, there's just been nothing that interests me.
Well, let's hope that changes not too long from now. And that is what we're all after here. So, do you want to move to the next segment? Unless that lost train of thought gets back to you there, Gordon?
No, my train of thought's gone. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
I'm heading overseas,
We're quite proud of you for keeping it as long as you did. Good job.
We are rifling through them. We're only 15 minutes in.
That's fine. The next two will take next two are longer topics. So,
The next
what?
topic is Battlefront 2.
Oh
Those of
yes,
you that were
Battlefront.
watching-
Right.
Those of you that were
By our
watching
favorite-
during the pre-show saw me playing Battlefront 2 on the stream itself. Dylan, you were the one that wanted to talk about this game, weren't you?
Well, yeah, because I don't know. We thought everyone enjoyed the video game talk yesterday. Wow, last podcast about Empire at War, and we kind of been noticing, at least from the Facebook side, the quote unquote. I know not everyone likes this term, but the quote unquote movement has been a little more skewed toward the novel side, and that we don't really talk a lot about the video games, or at least as much as we should. As quite honestly, I'm pretty sure a majority of Expanded Universe fans know Expanded Universe mainly through the video games, and a majority of them don't even realize it. So,
It's very true.
yeah, we wanted to keep up. We wanted to keep that up the talk of this, and we thought, what better video game to talk about than what some consider to be one of the best. I won't say the best. I'll say one of the best of the Expanded Universe, and it's also topical as it's getting a quote unquote remake this year. Would be Battlefront 2.
That was released sometime around now. But either way, yeah, no, Battlefront 2, I think that's something all three of us played. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a very large chunk of Star Wars Expanded Universe fans, or just Star Wars fans out there who have played this at some point in the past. There's a lot of different things we can go over. One of the things I don't think any of us here actually really got into was the modding of the game, which is kind of depressing because I've seen some really interesting mods out there that like add in specific Expanded Universe characters. Things that were really interesting. Like I'm pretty certain I've seen Mara Jade show up in the game a few times via mod. Other characters as well, but that one was the last one I had seen. It might be something I'd jump into doing here when I'm done playing what I'm playing now. Maybe I'll jump back into a Battlefront 2 craze again and maybe attempt to mod it. What do you guys think?
I don't really play many mods for Battlefront 2. As those of you who don't know, I use a different keyboard than a majority of the world. It's the Dvorak simplified keyboard. My fingers don't tend to move as fast, so the keystrokes of a QWERTY keyboard that's specifically designed to slow you down so you don't drive a typewriter, being long kind of goes against what I'm good at. So the Dvorak keyboard is better because the keys you hit, or at least for me, the keys you hit are closer together. But that also means the keys are in the wrong position. So any game that uses the mechanic of movement of WSAD is completely ruined for me because those keys are like nowhere in a convenient position for those movements.
Most games do have a rebindable key system.
They do. The problem is that when I do that, I need to have the WSAD keys exactly where they are on like a QWERTY keyboard. But on the Dvorak keyboard, that puts other keys that are commonly used for commands like there. So I'll instinctively try to hit those because I think in QWERTY when I play video games, so it's just a mess.
It sounds to me like something you'd really have to spend some time getting used to in order for it to actually work at all.
Right, and I just haven't put the time in because learning to type on it in general was a big commitment. And but anyway, I mainly played it through console in the old days on the PS2, and now through PS2 and Xbox.
I think I normally played it on the Xbox as well. That's probably why I never got to the moment.
I would like to interject something, Dylan. The
Okay.
PC version of Battlefront does support the Xbox 360 controller.
Oh, there you go. Interesting.
Okay.
You can always
The
use
360
Xbox
controller?
Yeah, I don't know if it supports the Xbox One because naturally it was made before the Xbox One.
Well, I have plenty of those around, so I'll have to try it sometime.
Give that a shot. Maybe that'll be your workaround.
Also, my laptop, if you couldn't tell by the beginning of the stream, is also a toaster. So,
Good laptop.
well, it's less effective than your phone apparently. But there was a couple other things you could talk about in Battlefront 2. There were 4 factions in the game that I can recall off the base game anyway. Which did you guys prefer to play?
I prefer to play Galactic Civil War because I hated dealing with Droidekas, and I didn't like the Confederates.
So you were always pretty much almost always going Rebellion versus Empire.
Not
so
always, but that's what I preferred.
That's the
Okay.
same one that I do.
Okay, so you were both Rebellion versus Empire. I think I preferred that as well, though I did still play as the Republic quite a bit myself.
Me-
I think I actually preferred the Empire in that game.
I apologize to anyone who got deafened by that.
Yeah, I think I preferred the Empire as well, except in space battles, because TIE
yeah.
fighters with proton torpedoes just doesn't, hurts my brain when I think about it.
I mean, yeah, you could have modded them to do that, but all of them modded that way? Yeah.
And TIE interceptors with concussion missiles, and
Okay, well, if you guys were kind of Empire, what about you, Gordon? I don't think I caught what you were.
Yeah, I'm Rebellion vs Empire as well.
Okay, so Rebellion versus Empire, did you play one faction over the other more often than not?
Usually Rebellion.
Ooh, so we have a split. Interesting.
Well, again, I played a lot of factions. It's just if you had to sit me down and say which one I preferred, it'd be one of those two, and I honestly go back and forth. Except in space battles, where I primarily play rebels,
which is understandable. Okay, well, we got the favorite faction out of the way, but which class did you guys tend to play as? Like,
Soldier.
what would you prefer to play as?
I
Soldier?
always go with Soldier, yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the map.
Depending on the map. Yeah,
So,
it probably depends on the map for me, too.
If it's Coruscant, Mustafar, or Jabba's Palace, I prefer the Engineer because I have all the bonus award weapons upgraded, and the fletched shotgun is just so OP. If it's a really open map like Geonosis or Hoth, then I'll usually play the Heavy Trooper and just sit in the corner by an ammunition droid with guided rockets and have fun. Just take out people from afar.
I loved playing
And then
as the Empire, and I would always go with the sniper guy, just because they would be running around in open space and be like, "Beep, got you." Just never
Hoth
switch
is
to the
by
award.
Hoth is by far getting the award rifles. Hoth is by far the best for the sniper. There's no camping spot. You have to be a more mobile sniper, which is what snipers actually did. So it's more realistic in that space, and it's just so easy because the battles are completely open, and there's almost always, you don't have to be hidden. There's almost always other troops in front of you that the AIs will shoot at first. So you can still kind of get the protection of distance, as again, most of the blaster rifles aren't good at distance anyway.
Very true.
And then for all their maps, I've mainly played the regular soldier class. When I did do Republic, as soon as I unlocked the Galactic Marine, I would play as him because the chain gun is also really fun to use.
So you were a heavy weapons kind of guy. When more often than not, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And I was kind of I generally preferred either the soldier with the award rifle for the soldier, or just the basic sniper rifle as a sniper. What about you, Gordon? You were a soldier. Did you have any preferences beyond soldier?
No. My playstyle in first person and third person shooters is usually bullet hell. Just shoot, and hope I hit something.
Pray and pray. Got it.
Captain Wilhelm, yes, indeed. Jordikas were more OP in the first game, but they're still extremely OP in the second game. And it's really weird. It's one of those units that's only OP when the computer uses it, I feel. Like, anytime I'm in the Jordika, either don't know how to use it effectively, or the OP has some cheap hacks that it uses to make it good.
Yeah, I almost never played as a Federation. Almost never, so I was pretty bad at that myself. Plus, I always preferred to watch out for wrist rockets anyway. You had the campaign was in the second game. What do you guys think of the campaign that they followed the 501st, did it not?
Yeah, I think that was very good. I actually think that was one of the first mentions of the 501st. In
a video game. I remember that was a big deal, too.
Mm-hmm.
They were really excited about it. There was a shout-out to the Fan Legion, the 501st, Vader's Fist.
And it also had a... Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, it was. I was going to say that it also had a lot of like little nuggets of information about the other events that happened, which tied in to things like part of the plans to steal the Death Star plans was in, the clone insurrection was in there.
Mm-hmm. It was a story that wove into the story as we knew it as novel fans too. So and obviously the movies, because that was the main thing that were around. But lots of little things like that. It was a story that wove into the overall tapestry that was the expanded universe story that was being told at the time. So I would go ahead.
I gotta admit, for me, I found the story less interesting than the Galactic Conquest mode.
Oh, well, yeah. Spent most of my time in the Galactic Conquest, but the campaign being there was really... I thought that was...
Black Hole 777 says you get to play as Allura Sakura too.
Ayla, yeah, in the campaign. I do recall that. It was that was on Felucia before everything went foobar for the Jedi Order.
And also, the reason that she has 2 lightsabers in that is because she's actually carrying her Master's lightsaber in the game.
Was that? Oh, didn't realize that.
If I recall correctly, Sakura's the Twi'lek Jedi that was added to Attack of the Clones by George Lucas just for the expanded universe.
Yeah, she was in the Dark Horse. She was a recurring character from the Dark Horse comics, mainly the Quinlan Voss runs.
Yep. Made it into the movie and then into the games and
just like another thing. Which, by the way, there's a whole Wikipedia article that's like at least 10 pages long of all the things from the EU that made it into the movies. You should definitely check it out if it hasn't been, let's say, defaced at this point.
Let's hope not. I don't think there are that many vindictive people out there.
But anyway, Battlefront.
Yeah, no. Favorite heroes? Because we kind of talked about Ayla Secura being in there. I guess that's kind of a nice segue into the favorite heroes units that you had on there. Trying to remember who I played as most of the time, especially in the hero battles, because there was that mode where it was all heroes versus heroes.
I played that mode.
It was
I
don't remember who I played.
I preferred. I think it was either Palpatine or Count Dooku. I can't remember when I was in the hero battles. It was they had the Force choke ability, but unlike Vader, they were actually fast and fairly agile, so I can zip around. And the Force choke ability there was no way to block it, so you would just automatically take down whoever you was without having to button mash, which was nice. In the actual campaigns, I prefer the heroes who actually shot. So Leia, Boba Fett. I didn't really like Jango Fett that much, but Leia had I think Leia's pistol is actually a percussion pistol, simply. And Boba Fett's blaster rifle was the award rifle. So before I had either of those two unlocked permanently, it was I preferred them because they were just so good.
Yeah. In the hero mode, it was definitely somebody with a lightsaber and negate like half the people. And then I don't know. Maybe it was I want to say it was either Vader or somebody else who I played as a lot. It wasn't Anakin.
Also on the Mos Eisley one, whenever I would play as a Jedi or a Sith, I would try to jump at the top of the Providence cruiser that was crashed into and then just like wait for someone to come down so I can jump on top of them.
Oh no, hey, Black Fool's right. Luke was pretty awesome in that game, so I'm going to go with that. That was probably the one I played most often when I was on the light side.
Oh yeah, Anakin Skywalker had the Force choke. Yeah, that was who I'm talking about. He had the Force choke and he was fast. So yeah, that's who it was.
During the pre-show, I played as Obi-Wan Kenobi during one of my matches, and lightsaber characters are just so overpowered. All I did was swing the lightsaber, and stormtroopers were falling at my feet.
No, it was like it was designed. That armor, man.
But they also died really easily. I felt like I could just jump into a clump of soldiers, and also the way that the mechanic work of your health bar is constantly going down unless you get kills. I thought it was much easier to stay alive longer as one of the ranged ones because I could stay at distance and pick people off fairly easily because,
Right.
again, their
Yeah.
weapons were extremely overpowered.
Well,
Yeah, you never had the close distance.
during the pre-show, I also played a Chewbacca, and he died pretty damn quickly.
Well, so I
The
don't
bowcaster
remember-
isn't that strong.
I promise
Exactly.
I didn't drop a moon on him, though.
Well, some people actually knew how to play Chewbacca, and apparently Chewbacca knew how to play Chewbacca, so.
Except when a moon is crashing down on them.
So kind of related to Battlefront 2, there was some footage released of what they had planned for a Battlefront 3 back in the day. Did you guys ever see any of that?
Yes, I saw a little bit.
Yeah, it looked a lot like in my opinion, I actually thought it was the two PSP Battlefronts because it was extremely similar to them, which I also played, and I think are the only thing that was bad about them was that they were for the PSP, which had really clunky mechanics as it didn't have a second joystick. But other than that, they were fantastic games, and I was really excited because finally I would get that game on like a console that actually had a second analog stick that I can look with and not have to press a button to lock onto a unit, and then it locks onto the unit halfway across the map and not the unit that's 2 feet away from me with a shotgun, like it always did every single time in Renegade Squadron.
I never played that one. No, one thing I saw in the Battlefront 3 footage that they had released was the ability to go from a ground battle to a space battle. It looked like it was all tied in like seamlessly, and it almost I don't know how many of you guys out there played No Man's Sky, but that kind of idea where it was seamless transition from the ground to the space battle really appealed to me at the time, and it was really sad.
Yeah, that was an Elite Squadron. It was a great mechanic because there were no ground and space battles. It was just battle, and you could either start in space or start in the ground.
I would have loved to see that in a Battlefront game.
Yeah, I didn't play that Elite Squadron because I didn't have a PSP, but I didn't know that was part of that game because that was definitely something that appealed to me. And a shame it never really got into one of the main console versions. And I thought they also were having a campaign a little bit hinted at in the Battlefront 3 footage as well.
There had to be a campaign
upgraded too.
If I could make my own Star Wars MMO like Star Wars Galaxies or the Old Republic, I would definitely add a feature like that so you can go from the spaceport to the space without loading screens and just flying your ship up there yourself.
It wasn't technically itself. You'd basically fly it like up, and eventually it would give you a prompt like press X to go to space, and then there'd be like a not really a cutscene, but like a 3 to 5 second animation that would show you entering atmosphere and getting to space, going through an atmosphere into space, and then back the same thing, and then you'd be in the space battle. So,
well, in No Man's Sky, you actually do fly up through the atmosphere yourself, and there's a seamless transition between it.
Right. No, I think with the technology where it is now, something that would definitely be possible.
And again, that was just Elite Squadron, so they could have cleaned up that mechanic in Battlefront 3, but unfortunately, we'll never know.
You said Elite Squadron was on the PSP, didn't you?
Yeah, Elite Squadron was on the PSP.
So
as was Renegade Squadron.
If it was on an Xbox or PC or whatever, a much more powerful machine, it definitely could have done something like that.
Especially with where they've got things now, but I mean, was there anything you would have hoped to have seen in the Battlefront 3 that wasn't in the previous 2 Battlefront games?
Well, this wasn't the first Battlefront game, but for Battlefront 2, I would have liked better lighting because the game was extremely dark, even at the highest brightness setting, which I would always set right before I would go into games. Even on my own TV, I would turn the brightness up, and it still felt really dark. So that'd be one thing.
My understanding is there. Yeah, go ahead.
Something I would like to see. Either of you play Battlefront 3? Not Battlefront, Battlefield 3.
No, I had not played that one.
I haven't played it either, but I've seen plenty of footage, and one of the things I like about that game is air and ground combat happening in the same battle.
Right. So the original Battlefront had some levels where you could jump in like an X-wing or a TIE fighter, if I remember correctly, on the ground, right?
I don't
Mhm.
remember the original, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it had that. It had that in. You could do that in Tatooine, Dune
Right,
City,
I was
Dune
thinking.
Sea, Kashyyyk Islands, and in Bespin Cloud City. And
Okay.
Bespin was the big one where you'd actually have a giant space battle. I kind of liked and I didn't like that because, well, I guess you could say the same thing about Elite Squadron where you're able to go from atmosphere to space, but X-Wings can fly in atmosphere, but TIE fighters can't. They have to have special modifications. So in the sense of Battlefront 1, it made sense that they were ground TIE fighters because, they could just have those modifications. But if it was going back and forth with the Empire in particular, I, again, wouldn't be as okay with it because it's not technically correct. But these are my own personal opinions. Like I said, it bothers me that in Battlefront 2, TIE fighters have proton torpedoes and TIE interceptors have concussion missiles.
Yeah, well, if they use that for Battlefront 3, what I'd love to see is for the map to actually be like the entire star system, and then you got the battle on one planet, say Hoth, and then players and NPCs can also fight in space at the same time, and the space battle can affect the ground battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I'm kind of along the same lines as 7 on that. I would have loved to have seen a New Jedi Order version of Battlefront.
Oh, I would love that.
I know there were some mods out there that supposedly added some of that in there, but like actual for the game to actually have that content released with it at the professional level, and then allow modders to mess with it from there. Having the Vong in there, having Public as a playable faction. There was a lot of potential that was never tapped video game wise with the New Jedi Order.
Yeah, something I've
Right.
been something I've been wanting since Knights of the Old Republic came out is a game like Knights of the Old Republic set in the New Jedi Order era.
Would have been wonderful.
Or
even better,
Legacy era.
Yeah, Legacy, something around there. I mean, there was a lot of rich story content that never got explored with video games in that era.
Yeah, I would say, as for Battlefront 3, most of the things, I would say just pull from Renegade and Elite Squadron. There's a really cool thing in Renegade Squadron, for example, where the space battles weren't connected with the ground battles. But in the space battles, you had asteroids that you could fly into, had hangars and capture points. And when you captured the asteroid, it would unlock special vehicles. So for the Rebellion, it would unlock B-Wings. And for the Empire, it would unlock TIE fighters, which are like really beefed up versions, fighter bombers that can essentially do the fighter and the bomber roll together and are super powerful. I would like to see something like that added to the space battles. Like we said earlier, the above and grounds, from ground to space and space to ground where it affects. I would like to see that again, which they did in Elite Squadron, but it needed a bit of polish. And as Gordon said, a stronger console platform to do that would probably make that a whole lot easier. The other thing is, I guess I would like a little bit more customization, but keep the class system intact. Like, instead of having every single class... Yes, so each class is restricted in the type of equipment that it can use, but there still is a bit of choice within that equipment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that making sense. I mean, you're restricted to like shotgun type weapons there, but you change, what type of shotgun you have or something like that, or maybe what the ammunition was that the shotgun was using, or something along those lines. Yeah, I can see that.
Loadout system would be nice. Yeah,
they kind of did a little bit of that in the Mass Effect campaigns in multiplayer, if I'm not mistaken, where you were kind of locked into certain weapon types. I think it was Mass Effect 2 and 1, but you could change what specific weapon it was you were using, which altered the type of ammunition it was using, which the fire rate, accuracy, things of that nature. So, I think that would be an interesting addition to a Battlefront type game, is the loadout customization. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about with Battlefront 2?
I guess I can get into. It's a little off topic, but since we mentioned mods, I don't know. It's a thing that happened recently, and it all happened. Anyway, we talked about mods, and I think, like we talked last podcast with the Yushin Vong mod, I think it's very important that we support these mod communities, especially because they make good content and are keeping these games alive with fresh content, and be especially.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff those guys were sending even after the podcast was done, I was looking at that going, this is going to be freaking amazing. Like, I thought I had seen enough before that blow my mind for the new Jedi Order content that was in the Vong at War mod, but some of the stuff they were still working on even after that and hadn't yet revealed, I was just going, okay, jaw-dropping, good quality stuff here. Like, this could be an actual game on its own type of thing. So, yeah, I completely agree. Definitely we're supporting these guys.
And especially if they're making expanded universe content, you always want to support them. And I know you're probably thinking, well, all these things you've mentioned are probably in the new Battlefront game, which, like we said before, we're just not interested in. But I think...
I'm sure some of them are. I mean, they were good ideas. Why not make use of good ideas?
I just have a new sense of hope with what happened with another franchise, which 10 years ago was also considered to be dead and had a very small fan base that kind of stuck to their own, and pretty much because the developer completely left them and closed down all the servers, they had to basically partner and make their own servers. And then around 4 years ago, a bunch of modders got into it and made an extremely popular mod, so popular that they partnered with a new developer to make it an expansion. And that mod did so well that it got them 2 more expansions for that game. And recently, the franchise Age of Empires, which is, like I said, is like really one of my favorites. And recently, as of this last week, all 3 of the games, which the first one we knew was getting one, but all 3 of the games now are getting completely remastered versions, and they're making a 4th version, a 4th installment to the series. When 10 years ago, Microsoft didn't really care about it and to basically abandon the fans. The fans stuck together. They supported their modders. Their mods became successful, and they're getting a new game because of it. So I'm not saying that's going to happen.
No, but it does show that it could happen, even when a company as large as Microsoft's involved.
Right, which is not Disney, we know, but it's possible. Right. And
no, goal definitely worth reaching for. Did we want to go on to the next section, Gordon?
Before we do that, I wanted to ask the chat. As I said, I streamed the game about half an hour before the show.
I think that was about it.
Would you be interested in watching more content like that from us? Streamed games, videos about us talking about games, playing games, stuff like that. Would you be interested?
I mean, I think I know what their answer is going to be, but you can ask.
Well, it depends on how much they're allowed to laugh at us as we fail repeatedly, right?
They're allowed to laugh all they want.
I didn't get a hashtag look at it. I'm disappointed in you.
Okay, fans' choice poll.
Okay, fan choice poll. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, there is a Facebook page that was started recently on within the group or within the quote-unquote movement called Star Wars Legends Fan Choice Polls. They did their first go at a fan choice poll vote. Kind of a way to get a feel for where the community is in regards to which characters they'd like to see backed in future official fan polls efforts. And we got some interesting results out of that. And seeing as we're still doing pretty good on time, did you guys want to go through and just kind of go round by round and vote by vote? Or is that too much?
Sure. Sure. We haven't even been going an hour yet, so we need we need that content.
Right. So the vote was entirely for a 3.75 inch figure. They are.
I thought this was the 6-inch, the one that just finished. They're now doing the 3.75, or are we going the 3.75?
Exact opposite. The 6-inch. They actually are going to be doing another one here shortly. They just closed up the nominations for it, and that's going to be the 6-inch, at least according to what I was reading earlier.
Oh, okay. So it's.
But first votes. First vote. Okay, I have to say that some of these votes, initial ones, were definitely the kind that were tearing my heartstrings, like which way do I go, kind of thing. But the first picture I'm going to pull up here, guys, is the first vote between 4 characters: Anakin Solo, Jason Solo, Darth Caedus, or Jaina Solo. And we all know Jason Solo and Darth Caedus are the same, but they have them as 2 distinct individuals in this first round. The winner out of this round was Jaina, with Anakin being second on that. But what did you guys think of that the first picture with the vote of those characters?
Well, I'm pretty sure all of them, with the exception of Anakin, had been done before. So I think I voted for Anakin just because like he's the one that hasn't been done yet, and he has the best likely.
I actually went with Caedus on that one. I'm kind of surprised. I forgot about that. But Gordon, we all know you would have gone Jaina, just hands down, Jaina, right? Really? Okay. Consider myself corrected on that one. Mind blown a bit. Second picture was another interesting votes between some fan favorites. You got Alana Solo, Leia Solo as a Jedi specifically, Ben Skywalker or Mara Jade Skywalker as a Jedi specifically. And the winner on that one was Mara Jade, followed by Ben Skywalker. What did you guys think about that one?
I voted Alana.
I wanted Alana. I wanted Alana just because there should be a catch. It should be Alana and Anji, because a baby neck. Look, I there's a hashtag look, by the way. I want an Alana and a baby Nexu. That's what I want. I'll be happy.
Yeah, I could see that. See, I'd like all of them. It was one of those votes where I'm like, really? Whoever put this together on this page, you're evil, because that was a really hard vote for me.
And again, a couple of them had been done before. Or at least I think there's Mara Jade in that case, which they have gotten. The 3.75 is really hard to do that because between the comic 2 packs and the there are just so many expanded universe characters that are done, and so many like special, really obscure ones that it's very hard to. It wasn't until the final rounds where they really started narrowing down and like saying, okay, these when there's only a few, like, okay, we've done the research, these have already been done, so don't vote for them, or keep they didn't say don't vote for them, just keep the overall goal in mind. And surprise, none of those ones made it to the finals. Yep. Yeah, for the 6-inch one, it's a lot easier because there have only been 2, and we know exactly what 2 those are.
Well, yeah, we kind of helped make that a thing. Anyway, the next picture was Sava Sabatine, the barbell, right? One of those barbells from Solid Celebration.
Yeah.
Tyone Salazar, Cam Salazar, and Luke Skywalker specifically as the Jedi Grand Master. With Luke winning that one and Saba coming in second. What do you guys think of that one?
Saba should have won. I mean,
Saba should have won.
you have like dinosaur Jedi. I mean, how do you not vote for that? You have the only Jedi. You have the only Jedi in galactic history who ate a Sith. Technically didn't eat, but she did take a giant bite out of a Sith once. And spoilers for Fate of the Jedi, but Saba totally bit a Sith. It was amazing.
Might have whispered something about a beating tasty too, but moving on. Oh, then the next one. Okay, the next one was hands down for me, but that's because it involved my favorite character in Expanded Universe. You had Corran Horn, Kip Durin, Ganner Rysode, and Kyle Katarn. That was not a fair vote for Corran, by the way. Jerks.
I think I actually voted for Corran.
He came in second. In all fairness, he did come in second on that one, but he lost to Kyle. Yeah, Kyle definitely had the win on that one. But yeah, Corran came on second on that one. I was like, dang it.
Video game characters OP, please nerf.
Exactly. Needed to happen. But yeah, I was happy he at least managed second on that one. So I guess there's not much else to say on that. Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. The next vote, I didn't vote because I actually didn't know any of these characters. Quite honestly, did not know any of these characters. You had, and I'm gonna butcher their names because I don't know them. Lenore Brock.
Lenore Brock.
Yeah, Trey Sana. Yeah, there wasn't even an image for Trey. And then Shay Koda and Seknos Wrath. I just didn't recognize it. Looked like they came from comics mostly, and that's probably
they were from the Dawn of the. Well, Lenore Brock was from the Dawn of the Jedi novel. She was the main character, so I know you wouldn't have voted for her.
Okay,
the other three were for the Dawn of the Jedi comic. I think I would have voted. I think I voted for Seknor because
the Seknos,
a Sith Jedi.
yeah,
I mean, because he's literally a Sith, or
And,
not Jedi, Jedi.
Jedi. That's right. It was different than that. Seknos,
Sith,
and then
a Sith Jedi.
Lenore was a second on that one.
Sith Pureblood figure would have been amazing to have.
Yeah, I just abstained on that. I'm like, my opinion doesn't matter because I don't know any characters, so I'm not going to take that away from somebody.
No, I don't know anyone that either.
Come on,
Okay.
Dawn of the Jedi comics.
None of the Jedi comics. No, see, in all fairness, the comics are the one area of the expanded universe I haven't taken any time to really dive into. I did a lot of the video games, and I did a lot of the novels, but I never went into the comics because I guess they just weren't as accessible for me. Next picture was a bunch of 100 killer droids you had going. You had HK-47, HK-50, HK-51, and HK-55 all going.
I mean, why is this even a question? Of those four, I mean, who is everyone gonna pick?
Well, it was pretty lopsided. Out of all the votes we've heard so far, that was definitely the most obvious one with HK-47 winning that. Pretty much. Yeah, no, I mean, it was like he had well over 200 of the nearly 300 votes. So, well lopsided on that one. But I guess if you're curious, second place was HK-55 from SWTOR. Next vote in the first round was Karth Onasi, Mission Vow. You had Zalbar and Lehesu. And I didn't actually recognize the last one. Where's Lehesu from?
I don't know.
Because it's a black and white photo of... I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. But either way, Karth actually won this round, with Mission coming in second.
And he still doesn't want to talk about it.
I think I came in... I voted for Mission.
Yeah, I think I voted for Mission too.
It was close. It was 9 votes apart on it. So definitely close. I don't know. I guess everybody... I guess Karth just, seriously, I think everybody just wanted to make sure that Karth always could stare at them on the shelves, not wanting to talk about anything. Dylan, did you have any other thoughts on that one?
This is a KOTOR one, so I kind of abstained because I don't like KOTOR.
You did abstain. I didn't see a vote on there from you. Interesting. Okay, understood. Next one.
What is it
Go ahead.
with the popularity of the dark brooding types like Kyle and Karth?
Don't know. Talk to all the people that voted for me. Ask for them, or ask the chats. Maybe they'll have an answer for you because I honestly don't.
Why do you like dark brooding characters?
Anyway, next vote.
Next vote was Guri Shizor, Prince Shizor. You had Juno Eclipse and Starkiller. So, in fairness, I think most of these was Guri actually in the video game version of Shadows of the Empire.
I think she was.
Either way, a bunch of video game characters. Interestingly, obviously Starkiller won that one. He was actually one of the participants in one of the Black Series votes. That didn't surprise me at all. But Guri
came in second. I believe he actually had a figure as well.
Yeah, I think so.
In the 3.75. But again, at this stage, with how many characters were, it was pretty much impossible to fact check everyone.
Exactly, and there were a lot of characters. Were
Jar Jar Binks for Black Series, Black Jedi, you're banned. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I have a few friends who would take an exception to that again, by the way. Gordon, do you have any thoughts on that vote before I go to the next one?
I know who one or two of those characters are, but other than that, I've basically ignored that poll.
Right. I think I actually voted for Juno on that one, but she was in last place on that, so rest in peace, my opinion. Next vote was Tor Vizsla, Jax Pavin, Ferris Olin and Trevor Flume. And the winner on that one was Ferris Olin, and it was followed by Jax Pavin. Thoughts on that one?
I didn't vote because I knew who all the characters were. I just didn't care about any of them.
No,
Same here. Didn't have a strong enough opinion on it. I think I did abstain on this one too. There were about 100 less votes on this one than the other one, so that sounds pretty consistent. I guess we should suspect that these didn't make it onto the whoever won this one, which was Ferris. Ferris probably didn't make it onto round 3. Moving on, we had a bunch of the Legacy comic books characters, and I actually did read these. I did have a vote. You had Ania Solo, Mara Seyfel, Cole Skywalker, and Kate Skywalker. And you're going to throw Skywalkers in, pretty much going to be a determined thing, predetermined. But Kate definitely won that one. And you had Ania Solo.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
It was another one of those pretty lopsided votes where Kate had 150 plus votes out of the 260 were cast. So yeah, taking on all.
Again, protagonists kind of have an unfair advantage,
especially ones that start out almost like an anti-hero, because his story arc was rather dark too. Let me rehash Gordon's question in the chat. What's up with the dark brooding characters, guys?
Well, see, he's actually an interesting character because, like you said, he has an arc. He starts innocent and then is destroyed emotionally and becomes bad, and becomes dark and brooding, and then warms up.
No, I agree. I think I would have voted, and I voted for Cade in that one. So I was of the same opinion on that. Cole Skywalker, I don't really know enough about him to vote for him. I did think about Marcia Fell though. And
come on, Cole. He was in the.
I didn't read Legacy 2, so I don't know a lot about Ania.
Cole was great. He was in Legacy for about 14 pages.
Was he even in that many?
I'm counting all. That's counting all the flashbacks.
Okay, that fair, definitely fair. Moving on to the next vote, it was Nomi Sunrider, Sanya Tyrell. You had Visas Mar and Exar Kun. Who do you guys think won on that?
You got to be Nomi.
Exar Kun actually destroyed everybody on that one.
What? Oh, that's right.
And I actually did vote for Exar Kun on that one because Exar Kun is probably one of my favorite characters, especially from that era. I don't see your vote on the top 3, but the second place was Nomi.
But Nomi, first Jedi female Grandmaster.
Right. I mean, she's a great character, but you put her up against Exar Kun. I mean, come on. That guy literally lasted from the Old Republic. Okay, it lasted. He's technically spirit form.
Right, and who beat him?
And plus he had a good back and forth with Koran, so I had to go with that one.
If I had voted, I would have gone.
When Koran was the diversion.
Exactly.
If I had voted,
great book. At least in my opinion, we know you didn't care for it, Gordon.
If I had voted, though, I would have gone for Visas because in KOTOR 2, she is such an interesting character.
Mira Luca.
Yeah.
I did like Visas on that one too. She probably would have been my third. Senya on that one. Yeah, Senya's okay, but she's
Senya probably would have been my second. Because of how her, and as I said, I've lost track of what's going on in the Old Republic lately, but in Knights of the Fallen Empire, her plot is quite interesting, and I won't go into spoilers about it.
But no, yeah, she does have an interesting story. I think it's partially because her story is still being told. She's one of few Legends characters that has that luxury right now, that her story is still being told. Next vote was Atten Rand. You had Valen, Lana Beniko, and Valkorian. Again, I felt
I didn't vote.
Hang on. Let me guess. Dark Brooding Lana won.
No, actually.
Oh.
She was third on that one. You had Valkorian coming first on that one. And it was followed by Atten Rand. I
am very surprised.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Dylan, you said you didn't vote on this one because they were Old Republic
mainly
era.
KOTOR and SWTOR characters.
Right. Yeah, no, I think I did vote Valkorion on that one because I kind of like the character most out of all of them. Seemed to be the most interesting to me. But yeah, very interesting. Next vote was a battle of the Darths. You had Darth Malgus, Darth Sion, Darth Nihilus, and Kreia, or Darth Treya if you're paying attention. Spoiler alert! But who do you guys think won on that one?
Treya.
I think Nihilus.
Nihilus definitely won that one. Kreia was second though, so Gordon, you weren't too far off. It was about 50 vote difference, but not too bad.
Come
Very
on, guys.
interesting.
What's with not liking the Dark Brooding characters?
Hey,
You complained that they.
Kreia. In all fairness, I did vote for Kreia now. Let's see. We had I think there were a couple more votes in that first round too. Another battle of the Darths. This one was also interesting. You had Darth Mar, Darth Malak, Darth Zana, and Darth Bane. I don't know why you would put Zana with Bane. That just seems unfair to Zana, but yeah, Bane definitely.
Well, Zana killed Bane, so
That's true. Fair. I will give you that one.
What
And she did come in second. Huh?
What race is Darth Bane?
A human, but in this particular picture, he has his orbital armor taking over him, so he doesn't look human.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, no,
He's a human bodybuilder, essentially.
Basically. I wasn't. He was a miner. He started off as a miner. I mean, that's yeah, bodybuilder 101 right there. Nothing but hard labor
Right.
first 20 years of your life. Anyway, yeah, Dussel definitely won that one. With Darth Zana coming in second. And then you had next vote was Atris, Mira, Roker Gepta. I'm not familiar with Roker Gepta. Looks like another comic book character. And Kara Holt.
Two video game characters versus two comic book characters.
Right.
Come on, who's putting these together?
And what do you guys think of that one?
I don't.
I'll give you.
I don't. I think I abstained from this one.
Yeah, I think you did. But somebody who was helping us in Celebration in Orlando actually dressed up as one of these characters.
Oh, so it must have been Atris then.
Yep. Atris definitely won this one. Second was Mira. So no surprise, the video game characters definitely dominated.
I know a total of 2 people who actually liked Kara Holt.
Well, let's see. Let's see how many actually liked it. 19 votes. She got 19 votes. So you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity. Atris got over 100 votes. So, out of the 200 or so cast, she had over half. This was pretty dominating. Next one was kind of interesting. You had Shay Vizsla, you had Githany, Theron Shan, and Satil Shan. And we all know who won that one specifically because of who came out on top. But Satil won that, and Shay Vizsla was on second on that one. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan abstained on this because it was mostly Old Republic again era characters.
I think I voted Satil because in our war room, quote unquote war room, that's who we decided to rally behind.
Yes. Yes.
So I think I voted for her in that
But that was pretty obvious. And then you had a bunch of utility droids. T3M4, C2N2, which was the ship droid on the light side characters. T701, and 2VR8, which was the ship droid on the Imperial side for Old Republic.
And
the winner of that one was...
Less annoying. Just as annoying.
What's that? No, yeah, the Imperial. The groveling Imperial.
Yeah, it's less annoying than C2.
A little bit. I didn't really care for either, but it took me forever to realize that you actually use them as companions too.
They make good healers.
Yeah, they were decent healers, and that's why I'm kind of surprised it took so long for me to figure that out because I used to play a lot of tank characters, so healers were kind of a must.
How would someone do a Hishu action figure? I don't know. See, Terry, this is why we need to have you on the podcast.
What did Terry say?
She says, how did you do a Alicia action figure? It would be as big as a ship.
That's very true. T3 definitely won that round. He blew it away. Just because his KOTOR character didn't surprise me. The other ones are all Old Republic, so not as widely well known. And
Terry,
Second was the Jedi Knight T701 system there.
Yeah. Terry
So-
on the team is the resident collector. I know those are like, not supposed to exist. They're like unicorns in the Star Wars Legends
Dylan.
community, but
Dylan,
we have it.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Shh. Collectors don't exist amongst the expanded universe fandom.
No, it's why it's so weird that we have one. It's like a Terry's our unicorn.
All right, so the next vote was kind of interesting. It had some choices that weren't specific characters, but you had Whistler, which is Corran Horn's droid, so I had to go there. You had Vufi Ra. That was one of those extragalactic machines, right? I can't remember. what
I don't
they're
know.
called.
I don't know.
You
I
had
know the other
Killick-
two are.
Killick and the Yusan Vong. And the Vong
Oh man, I
outfit
wonder what
that.
won this.
Yeah, Vong won now. Whistler came in second, though. Holding strong, Astromech droids. All right. If I'm not mistaken, Whistler actually does have a figure from one of those comic 2-packs, just like Corran did. So I need to pick that up sometime. Anybody knows where to find one cheap, let me know.
Preferably where he can buy it through Amazon Smile. We'll get to that at the end, though.
Yes, we'll get there. I'm not sure how many more of these there are, but we're still in the first round. Ajunta Paul, Ulik Keldroma, you had Marka Ragnos, and Naga Sadao. So basically, founding fathers for the Sith and Ulik being thrown.
Lando
in there.
droid. Okay.
Lando droid was the Yusan
Ulik,
Vong
yeah.
Hunter droid, UVH droids. There's
No.
something else. In this vote, Naga Sadao won, and Ulik Keldroma came in second. Who did you guys vote for?
I didn't vote.
I think I voted for Ulik because I played the Clone Wars video game back when it came out, and he was in that.
Was he? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was in the 12th mission, the one to Renvar. You go to his tomb, and then he tells you how to beat the Dark Reaper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I played that campaign like once. Yeah, I think you're right, though. Okay, so next one was more KOTOR characters, and then you had a SWTOR character thrown in there. You had Mitra Surik, Jolie Bindo, who doesn't love Jolie, and Kem Vol, as well as Johanny.
Tell me that he won.
Oh man, I wonder who won this round.
Well, actually, Mitra Surik won because she was a protagonist that you played as in the second game.
I know, that's why I said I wonder who won this round.
I'm
right,
highly
but-
disappointed.
Jolie had second, and he actually had a respectable second. He wasn't that far behind Mitra on that. I think it was about, 32 votes behind? Not bad. Not bad, Jolie. You still make awesome meme. Okay, next vote was Siritachi, Captain Fordo in Phase 1 armor. You had Dirge and Zane Carrick. And who do you guys think won that one?
I know he didn't win, but I wanted ARC Trooper Fordo so bad to win.
Fordo is pretty awesome. He did not. Gordon, what do you think?
I don't know anything about those characters, no.
Okay.
Siritachi? You don't know who Siritachi is? It's like Obi-Wan's...
Siri's my assistant on my phone. That's all I know.
Oh. Siritachi was Obi-Wan's love interest.
Yep.
Obi-Wan
Still
has a
apprentice.
love interest?
Well, yes.
Kinda.
Let's not get into it. Zane Carrick won that one, and Siritachi was coming second on that.
With Dirge in second, I'm assuming.
No, Siritachi was second. I think
Wow.
he chose... Yeah, I voted for Dirge, and he was dead last. Once again, my opinion, rest in peace. Next vote, Alima Rar. You had Zek, Tahiri, and Lobaka.
Oh man, I wonder who won this round.
Opinions, go. Who do you think won?
Tahiri.
Obviously, Tahiri won.
Yeah, Tahiri won that one.
You kidding me? They don't have to play plastic for shoes.
Fair point. Cheaper figure to make. You got to make this happen, Hasbro.
Exactly.
You actually
You
had
don't
most-
have to mold the shoes. You can just mold regular feet.
It was a decent margin she won by, too, over Lobaka in second. But Lobaka had a respectable 79 votes as well, so interesting. Very interesting. Didn't Lobaka have like a copper-colored blade on his saber? Like, I think
Rebel
it's
Jedi, we don't talk about she who shall not be named.
Wait. Are you trying to antagonize? I am so glad I can't see that screen right now. Next vote was Tenel Ka. You had Raynar Thul, Tekli, and Kilkal. I pronounce her name wrong every time. The female Mon Cal healer that was one of the original.
Silgal.
Silgal. Thank you. Silgal.
That's how Mark Thompson pronounces it.
Tenel Ka obviously won that one.
Mhm.
Hands down. And then
Down.
With one arm tied behind her back.
Silgal was his second on that one. So interesting votes on that one.
She's a real handy figure to have around.
So we got a few more to go. There were a lot of people suggested for, and this was organically collected names suggested to the page for these votes. So next vote was between Dash Rendar, Nam Nor, Vergear, and Lumia. That was actually an interesting one. What do you guys think?
I think Dash, because he's a video game character, but I mean, Vergear would be amazing.
And interestingly, it was actually Lumia who won that one.
Really?
I was surprised to see that as I went back and looked at it again. Yeah, Lumia won that one.
Well, I guess the
Vergear.
light whip would have been a cool weapon to have,
True.
or
And
the light cat of nine tails, as it's not really a whip; it's a
Hey,
and her
but we saw
significant
somebody
role
that
on Legacy of the Force.
what's that? Say again?
And her significant role in Legacy of the Force.
Yes, she did.
as well as the old Marvel comics.
Right. She definitely was in enough of the tent out there that I guess it shouldn't have been as surprising as it was. But we did see somebody cosplay as her at Celebration. That was on the way out on the last day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a shame we couldn't get her on the stream because it was actually, she had the light whip and everything. It was pretty well done. Next vote was between a bunch of legacy characters, I believe. Third one, I'm not 100% sure. You had Vestar Kai, Gavar Kai. You had Sarasu Talon.
Talzin?
It's two A's. Talon.
Talon.
And then Abeloth.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was three members of the Lost Tribe.
Right, that's when I thought.
Gavarkai is Vistara's father, and Sarzu was the headmaster
Right.
of the until spoiler alert, he runs into Luke, and you can probably imagine how that ended up.
Luke plus Sith equals what? Vestar Kai won.
Actually, I think Luke killed 3 of the 4 people on screen on the
Well, and the only one left is, he probably left her
is
alive.
dating his
Is
right.
dating
The only
him.
one left is
Right.
dating his son.
Right, he didn't want to turn his son against him, so it's the only reason why she got away, and that's probably the only reason why she won this one, because she was a love interest for Ben Skywalker. But in all fairness, she was a pretty awesome character too. I did want to see more.
What would an Abeloth figure look like?
That's
This
the
is
thing.
what I want to know.
Like maybe this is where they charge extra for a figure because she took on so many different forms. You could give her different heads to put on or something.
Maybe they just maybe they just make an octopus figure and be like close enough.
Yeah, you could have done that. You probably could have done that. Next vote was Roan Fel, Darth Malady, Darth Krayt, and Darth Talon. Now that was actually an interesting vote because there are some fan favorites in there. Who do you guys think won that one?
I would say Talon probably won that one.
Probably Talon.
Krayt won that one.
Really?
Interesting.
Yes, it was
Because Talon
very-
was in the finals a few years ago,
I think this
or a
was,
couple years ago.
This is probably the closest vote that there's been. There's only 3 votes apart, but she was second to Darth Krayt. So let's see how many of our team members voted on this one. Dylan, and that's it. That's only you
I
helped.
think I voted for Crate.
Mm-hmm. You did. Who the heck did I vote for? Did I not vote on this one? Oh, I voted for Darth Malady because she was the main antagonist in the game I'm playing with some friends, so she kind of swayed my vote that way. But it was interesting. What did you guys think of that outcome?
Unexpected.
Yes, unexpected. I was kind of surprised by that. Typically,
I would
you
expect
think Talon would
Talon
win.
to be first, yeah.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of Imperial officers of varying sorts in the next vote. Admiral Dala, Hussein Izard, Jagged Fell, and Palion.
Oh, I know exactly how I voted on this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you guys think?
I think it's between Pelion and Fell.
Okay, you're not wrong.
I think Isard, yeah, she was brooding, but she wasn't a lot of things. And I think Dala, although she started strong, anyone who's read Fate of the Jedi hates her. So it's between those two.
So it was actually Pelion that won, and
okay.
Fell came in second, and it was actually a pretty wide margin. I was surprised by that. It's about 45 vote difference. Very interesting. Let's see. How many more do we have? Two more to go. So you had Myri.
There were like over 100 characters. I remember.
Oh yeah, well over. Yeah, I mean there were a lot of people who were. So you had Myri Antilles, Ayala Antilles, Myrax Tarek, and Winter. What do you guys think on that one?
Really? Mary made it, but not Sile? Rip Sile, I guess.
I guess not Sile, huh? Myri.
I actually don't know.
I don't think I voted on that one, but if I did, I probably would have gone with Winter.
She came in second to Myrax, so Myrax won that one. And
so hey, Corrin won a round, kind of.
That's right, kind of. His wife can make it to the second round, but he can't. And in all fairness, he was also cosplayed at our celebration booth. So,
but not when Lynn was cosplayed as Mirax. Like literally, the one day Lynn comes cosplayed as Mirax, we don't see any Corrins. Every other day, there's at least three.
Wait. You said cosplay. I said cosplay.
Oh,
we're busted. You can't say that to Star Wars. People that dress up as Star Wars characters. Apparently, that's a big no-no. Anyway, next round. Let's move on and cover up. Final vote for the first round was Thrawn. You had Nagri. You had Talon Card and Mira Gev. And I felt so bad for Nagri and Mira Gev because the only two I considered possible winners on that Thrawn or Talon Card.
Oh my gosh! I wonder who won.
Let me guess.
And surprisingly, Talon actually didn't even make this top two. He was third. So it was Thrawn in first, and Mir Gev actually got second on that. I was kind of surprised by that. It wasn't even that close. It was like 30 vote different. Interesting. So that was kind of how the first round went. I mean, we could go over the rest of them, but as there were still 3 more rounds. Anyway, the final vote ended up being Tenel Ka versus Satil Shan. Now, what do you guys think about the outcome on this? With Satil.
Well, like I said earlier,
it was only 8 vote differential. I got to point that out. Only 8 votes.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, when we did our war room at post celebration of who we were gonna support, we put the list up in many places, but the one that everyone on the team felt was the best chance of winning the actual vote when it came out was Satil Shan. Yep. So that's what we kind of agreed to go vote. But then everyone voted for Ben, so we're just like, all right, well, we're going with Ben because that's who everyone picked. Right. Well, ironically, around half the team switched their vote on this one to Tenel Ka because of the.
Okay. Well,
my rationing behind it was a lot of figures. Collect figures for the cool look of the figure and the cool accessories. Jedi in a red-haired Jedi in a full lizard skin outfit with a Rancor tooth hilt lightsaber. I mean, who's not going to buy that?
This is fair.
Especially, missing an arm still, but
exactly.
Again, how many more figures could they produce? Exactly. How many more figures they can produce with the saved plastic on Tenel Ka's left arm?
We're terrible, right? We're terrible. But no, in all seriousness, and I probably should this way. I mean, I found it kind of interesting the top 2 characters that come out of all of those characters that we talked about earlier are definitely fan favorites, no doubt about that. And I obviously Satil only won because she's a video game character, and that doesn't surprise me. What did surprise me was how close it was. I mean, it was only was only 8 votes. That's really close. So
yeah, she won the full.
You had well over 400 votes on that one too. So, and coming from a new page, that's a lot of interactivity from a new page.
So yeah, I guess long story short, Sateel won. So if Hap switches the fan poll again for the 3.75 inch series, she will be the one that we'll all rally behind.
Yep, that's who we would recommend everybody would vote for. Based on the feedback from the fan community out there, that's definitely the one they want most right now, although there are a lot of contenders that they apparently want. So I'll be interested to see how the 6-inch vote goes, because I know they had a lot of recommendations on that, and I think that one's going to be starting up here relatively soon. So definitely check out, guys, Star Wars Legends fan choice polls. Yeah, you're running that second fan choice poll pretty soon here, and
make sure to vote for Captain Fordo.
For Captain Ordo.
Captain Fordo for fan choice poll, 6 inches.
Yes, Dylan likes Captain Fordo. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Again, cool character. Interesting looking character for action figure collections. That's what I'm going on.
All right, Gordon, let's go to the next segment. Which one was it?
The fundraiser.
Oh yes, that little fundraiser we do have going on. Okay, well first we should probably start out by saying what it is, should we not, Dylan?
Yeah.
So this fundraiser that we're doing right now is a book drive fundraiser. We are raising the funds that will go basically entirely towards purchasing new Legends books to be donated to Children's Hospital of Orange County in California. The cool part of this is, well, many times fold, but interesting that the idea kind of came up from our celebration booth, that we were going to team up with the 501st Fan Legion to do this one. And we did reach out and got a hold of the Southern California Garrison, and they are going to be providing us with some troopers to escort, quote unquote, escort the books to these kids as part of a Children's Hospital visit. Now, they are limiting how many people can participate in this one directly for various reasons, but that's basically what the hospital can hold in the same room with all these kids is 8 people. And Twin Sons, we are sending 2 people, and the 501st will be sending 6. So basically, these funds, and we still we've collected $1,020, and our goal is $3,000. We are trying to make a lot of purchases with this money, and hopefully we can just flood that hospital with these books that these kids can read. What do you guys want to say about this fundraiser? I mean, there's a lot that can be said about it. Well, don't all speak up at once.
What I want to talk about is, I've said this a few times on my own page. This is one of the most important fundraisers we are ever going to do, for multiple reasons.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go over those reasons? I mean, from a movement standpoint, which is probably one of the least important reasons, actually, this is helping us build a reputation for doing what we do. This is what we do. Every single one of our fundraisers has resulted in books being donated, but that is the primary focus of this one, is donating books. This is also getting our name out there with the other areas of the Star Wars fandom in general, now that we're teaming up with the 501st on something. If this goes well, I would hope this is something that we could start doing regularly at hospitals around the world, because there are 501st garrisons around the world, and this would really help us take off with something on that regard. But there's something to be said about donating books to kids who have nothing else to look forward to any day. We know how much we love these books. We know what this inspired in us. All these kids might not have been exposed to these books yet. This might spark something in their lives too. This is definitely a huge deal from that respect too. If not more important than, definitely more important than what the movement benefit is. Even though there is a movement benefit, there is a bigger benefit to the lives of all these kids. Now, I can't remember. We did some research on how many patients they regularly have at Children's Hospital Orange County before we decided on where we were. But it was quite a few. I mean, we're looking at giving at least several books per kid, and that's what it's going to take is several $1,000s to do that. Do you happen to remember off the top of your head, Dylan?
I don't actually remember it.
I can't remember either off the top of my head. That's unfortunate, but there are quite a few patients there regularly who really don't have a lot to look forward to in their lives, and some of them really don't have great outlooks on life right now. So anything we can do to improve that, even just a little, even if it's just a book, is an excellent thing. I mean, you can't overstate how great this will be if we are successful in raising our goal. I mean, even the money we've raised so far is amazing, but we have a long way to go. And I'm hoping with the time remaining, we have 34 days. Our goal is have this money raised by October.
It's about October 1st. A little over 2,000, a little less than 2,000 left.
Yeah. Which, and
I want to say, honest,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that honestly, Twin Suns, the actual members are limited in how much we can donate legally. Otherwise, I myself would be donating more than I already have. I know, Dylan, you're probably the same way. I know Amelia's we're the only ones that are restricted by that. But that said, I'm really hoping the community can step up on this one. Kind of like they did for Shannon McRandall. When news got out that she was doing a crowdfunding fundraiser, we got that pushed, helped spread that out to other areas of the Star Wars fandom, and she made her goal within hours, wasn't it? Within hours.
Within, I think, within a couple days of us actually promoting it around.
She went from, I think it was like 3,000 something to over 9,000 pretty easy, and that's not just a meme. That was over $9,000 collected. So we have a goal here. It is for probably one of the most pristine causes out there, one of the most pure causes you can find, and it just so happens it also benefits us kind of on the side from a reputation standpoint. Otherwise, every single one of these dollars is going to help kids. So one way
the big thing for me is that sure, we all know and love the expanded universe. Every one of us has a bookshelf somewhere just full of books that we're set for. They can we're always going to know these stories, but it's kind of morbid to think of this, but we're not always going to be here. We've already heard reports from numerous countries of Legends books no longer being in stores. The big one is that's in the UK. That's extremely hard to find. It's not without the realm of possibility that could spread elsewhere and get worse as the time goes. And sure, we're going to know it. Sure, we're going to all know it. But once we're gone, who's going to carry on? Who's going to carry on? The main reason, right? Not just remembering the story. And the main reason that we're focusing on for this particular thing, and a lot of ours with children's hospitals, is because we're trying to get the next generation into this as well, so they can continue on where we in a sense left off, so they can enjoy these stories too. Because the easiest way to get people to forget is just have them stop reading.
Right. Which is why I'm really hoping that they consider or find a way, because I know there are some difficulties involved with all the various entities involved, but find a way to republish those young adult books and, like the Junior Jedi Knight series and all of those books, because they aren't being made right now. It's only the novels that were meant for like teens and up that are being made right now. And that does present a bit of a problem for the future of the Legends timeline, in that there is a generation of Star Wars fans being brought up right now who have no idea what the Legends timeline consists of, who these people are, what stories they're missing out on. So yes, that is another one of our goals with this, and bringing these stories directly to that generation, exposing them to what we all love to Star Wars, and there's bound to be a good portion of them that's worth more into as well. Jordan, do you have any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, pretty much everything you've just covered. For me, the most important part is that we're getting out there and teaming up with the 501st, which is not a small, a rather sizable fan group.
Right.
Within the overall Star Wars community.
No, that's what made this idea worth pushing for, I think, in that we were able to connect with another fan community or another portion of the fan community that is already worldwide, that is already doing, generous campaigns. Like, I know this is the first time that the 501st will be visiting Children's Hospital Born. It's not. They've had this happen before. I've talked to the hospital about this already, and they seem to have almost a routine down. So if there was a fan group out there worth teaming up with, is definitely 501st. Their hashtag bad guys doing good. I always like that one personally. But I agree, Gordon. That is definitely a big part of this.
And as you said, another part I like is that we're not just doing this for us, we're giving to children in need.
Right. No. I can't imagine being stuck in the hospital for months on end. As a kid, you're already limited on so much of what is out there in life to be enjoyed as a kid, and missing out of it. I don't see why we wouldn't them to at least have something to look forward to. Providing these books, the stories that they tell, it was definitely worth looking forward to the next one.
And Star Wars has always been about inspirational tales. It's kind of the motif of the franchise.
That's right.
We actually talked about.
Go ahead.
We actually talked about this after Celebration, because we donated a bunch of books to a children's hospital in Orange County, Florida, not Orange County, California. There's two
Which was
Orange counties.
An awesome experience. I'm gonna be jealous of. I think it's.
But we talked about how it was a lot of the books then that we were getting were from the New Jedi Order series, and how we were not sure if that was the right move to put that dark. And then you put out, well, there is a character who has a debilitating disease who, comes out of it and just fine. So,
right. I mean, the series did a lot of great things. So I didn't feel bad about donating those books. They were definitely worth reading. They were certainly more to look forward to reading once you were done with those. So, it did a lot of great things. But yeah, I am jealous because I believe it's yourself, and Travis, Dylan and Travis, who are going to be the Twin Sons reps going to this one. And it should be interesting to see. Unfortunately, I know we're restricted on taking photos inside. I'm hoping you guys get some photos outside. But any photos involving any of the patients. So
we'll try to
when
get
this
what we
happens towards the end of October, because it is happening regardless of if we make our goal or not, still donate. It is something that I'm hoping to see some media from, but I know we can't expect to see anything. You guys want to say anything else about the fundraiser aside from please share it around?
Just get some books.
Yep.
I'm not going to be happy until my trunk is full of books when I'm driving over there.
And
that'll be awesome.
If I have to start putting books in the back seat of my car because there's not enough room in the trunk, I'll know we did good.
Yep. That's the goal. Let's all make it a frustrating thing for Dylan to deal with.
Let's talk.
And I guess.
Sorry, Dylan.
I think we're going the same way. The other way that the Amazon Smile.
Mm-hmm.
We also have that.
Yep,
which if any of you guys have been checking it, we did get, because they do it quarterly, is when they donate. So we did get, as it says in the page, I think we got the email about this a couple days ago, $9.88 from those of you who've been purchasing with Amazon Smile. 0.5% goes to us. So yes, we have received that. We are going to be, just as for transparency's sake, the money that you've been donated through them is going to cover our operating costs, which I think we figured out last year are around in the neighborhood of $50. So that'll go a good way into covering that.
It's not that bad. Forming a nonprofit is certainly more expensive than maintaining the nonprofit, though there are some expenses on the internet side that we do pay for too. So, it's not a lot compared to the money that we have demonstrated we are capable of raising elsewhere. Definitely not a lot. But yeah, the Amazon Smile is definitely worth using if you're a user of Amazon. Definitely switch over to the Smile version and pick Twin Suns or really any nonprofit that signed up there. We would appreciate it if you pick Twin Suns, but it does help any nonprofit that you sign up for, even if it's only 0.5%. I mean, barely anybody. I'm sure there aren't that many people out there who have been using it for our sake, and yet we still managed to raise an additional $10 out of this. Really useful.
Before we move on, let's talk for a moment about the perks that we're offering.
Oh yes, the perks on the fundraiser. Well, let's just go down the list. We have the Twin Suns Foundation bookmarks, which I still have one I use regularly. I know Gordon's desperately been wanting one down in Australia, so I need to start thinking about shipping one to Gordon down
I had
there.
one too, but I lost it.
Apparently, I need to add Dylan onto this too. You guys didn't donate enough for that, did you? No, Dylan did.
I donated enough for it. I donated enough for 5 bookmarks. I'm getting my bookmarks.
Which, by the way, is our second perk. So at $20, we're giving you guys 5 Twin Suns Foundation bookmarks. These are the bookmarks that are actually what we were handing out also at Celebration Orlando. So the only people that have these are the people that attended Celebration Orlando and stopped the booth. They're pretty awesome. They have the planet logo that we created for our banner. Who was that? That was Paul.
That was Paul that made.
Right. Yeah, and then on the back,
Paul does all our stuff.
Paul does. Okay. In all
If
fairness,
it looks
our
amazing,
artistic
Paul did it.
ability- Yeah, exactly. Our artistic ability. If it looks great, it was probably Paul.
If it looks like something you could chop together in MS Paint in 15 minutes, it was probably one of the other, not Paul.
That's so true. So true. Sad but true. But yes, we're also letting you guys participate in the second Ask Me Anything, which we'll be doing at some point after the fundraiser finishes up. If you're donating $20 or more and $50 or more, we actually are giving you guys a poster with that Planet Art logo on it, which, to be honest with you, I might just order one for myself on the side, pay for it myself because they look pretty awesome. But $75.
That is a thing with the limited perks. Team members who are team members do not count towards a cap. If you donate that much, you don't get any.
Basically,
we're limiting them to have more for you guys. But if team members, if you're listening to it and you want some, just let us know. We can get you one
on the side as an addition. You will be paying for full price, though.
Right. We should make that abundantly clear, team members. Yeah. Oh, how many of us are there? Like 12 of us now?
No discounts.
No discounts. You have to pay full price. But yes, that cap does not count team members. So we can give out as much as we can.
I think we've given away 2 of the posters and then one of the T-shirts, which was the next perk at $75. Which, the Twin Suns Foundation T-shirts. Right now we have it set up where it's going to be similar to what the team members had at Celebration. Not the board members, but the team members had at Celebration. So basically a white T-shirt with the Twin Suns logo on the front. And then we're debating what else to do with it, if anything. Price-wise, it isn't a huge difference between whether you do...
we have 2 T-shirts that have been taken. 2 of the 15.
2. Okay, so we have 13 left, which that's good. That's good. And then finally, you had the perk at $100, which we are limited on the first part of the perk for that, which is the autographed Shannon McRandall prints. These are, the pictures of what we have left are pretty much right there, but we only have 10 of those left that we can give away. And the other
first
half
come, first serve.
Exactly, first come, first serve. The other half of that is not limited, despite what Matt would hope. It's the Princes of the Universe podcast co-hosting spot. Matt Wilkins does have a couple of podcasts, but the one that he has everybody of the universe. He's offered this perk for every single one of our fundraisers in the past. We do know Matt. He's a good friend of ours, so we aren't just thrusting this upon him. This is something he volunteers. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, he really talked to come on to his podcast to co-host with him. It's is probably the highlight of the month whenever he does that. So please,
because his normal co-hosts are really bad at showing up to podcasts. So You need to donate so you can give him more content.
We've joked back and forth with him about adding an additional perk on one of our fundraisers, something higher up that, permanently co-hosts one of Matt's podcasts because he needs something more dependable. Of course, that's something that probably won't happen, but you never know. It might happen. So, do you guys want to talk about anything else on the fundraiser? Or do we want to move on? I think that was actually our last topic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've been going for almost an hour 40 now.
That's good.
So that's all for the fundraiser?
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say other than, guys, please share. Donate if you can, of course, but share helps us get the word out there. If you can't donate, sharing it means that you might get it in front of somebody who can, too. So, and the cause is certainly worthwhile. I would say probably more so than our previous fundraisers. Certainly worthwhile doing.
And also, this doesn't look like a problem now, as we still have plenty of these available. But if one of the quote-unquote limited perks does fill up, and you do donate after that fills up, you'll be put on a waiting list. So if any of the people above you opts to not redeem that perk, it'll be available to you in the order on that waiting list. So.
Right. And I suppose the only other thing we can say is for U.S. residents, it is tax deductible. So.
Yes.
We did take the extra step of going, tax exempt, and your donations in the U.S., if you're a U.S. resident, are tax deductible.
All right.
Yes.
The question of the podcast was, if you could change one thing within the Star Wars Legends timeline, what would it be and why? I asked this to chat earlier in the show. Brian, what would you do?
Change one thing in the expanded universe timeline.
And remember, changing one thing can have repercussions.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not so certain I would have something change. And that's the thing. I never felt like I had one thing I really despised about the expanded universe or didn't care for. I mean, there are things I obviously felt upset about, like, Chewbacca getting crushed by him. Sucked.
Well,
but at the same time,
doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're upset about.
Right, but that's how I would think about it, because there isn't anything I would change for any other reason, and I really do like some. And there were certainly bad entries in the expanded universe. There are certainly bad plot, but they all played into the bigger part of the narrative. And changing any one of those bad things would change something good down the line somewhere that I did like. So, I don't think I really have a good answer on this.
What about you, Dylan?
I think I'd go with the same thing I said in our beginning podcast of who I wouldn't want to die, and say, I wish that Lord Wylock, Darth Rylock III, had actually lived. Not through the entire Soul, but when they dueled, if he could have somehow got away and kept that second faction of Sith, as it would have made more of the one Sith crumble, and I think the one Sith wouldn't have survived that internal civil war while at the same time the Battle of Coruscant was happening, as well as transitioned the galaxy into the Triumvirate a little more effectively, as you would have a much better leader in Rowan Fell at the head of the Imperial Remnant, because Mersa Fell, while good, clearly wasn't ready at that time to take on that kind of leadership role. So more chance for her to develop into a proper statesman, while letting an experienced statesman handle a peacetime galaxy. And also because it happens in Legacy era, so it would affect the least amount of things possible. If that were to happen.
Fair. I could see that. I just don't think I would change anything. What about you, Gordon? Did you have an answer on that one?
Yes. For me, if I could change one thing, it would be preventing Anakin's death.
Anakin's, as in Anakin Solo or Anakin Skywalker?
Solo.
Okay, Solo. Got it.
I know this would have massive repercussions along the timeline, but I feel that he died too early. He wasn't given a chance to shine like he should have been.
Maybe I would change one thing in the Old Republic video game that bothered me, which really doesn't affect too much of that time.
Well, I mean, there was the one time Anakin told Leia, Oh, what? Oh, sorry, I was making a joke.
Bringing Revan back after he's killed in the Imperial Flashpoint, they brought him back for an expansion, Shadow of Revan, which is basically a dark side corpse and a light side spirit, and that didn't really fit for me. It seemed kind of out of place almost.
Yeah.
But I mean, and changing that wouldn't change all that much because the fight would still be happening. I guess maybe if I had to change one thing, it might have been that.
Okay, do we have anything else to talk about?
Well, were there actually any answers from anybody that was watching at the time?
The chat hasn't said anything so far.
Okay.
Chat,
well, if they do have anything, they can always comment on the videos after they get posted too. I wouldn't mind reading those.
Apparently not. No, I've been watching chat this whole time.
Okay.
I think they've gone
Talking to chat is the one thing I'm good at.
As you
other than being a pathetic failure.
Oh, well, I don't think we've had enough hashtag looks out of you tonight. So look,
look,
hashtag look. Okay.
Like I was trying to say earlier when Anakin was telling Leia, like, when I grow up, I want to be a hero, and Leia's like, you're not to pick one because you can't do both.
That's terrible. You're terrible. All right, Gordon. Before he says anything else crazy, let's wrap this up.
Fair enough. You have been watching the Twin Suns Foundation podcast. If you liked what you saw, then feel free to give us a thumbs up. If not, the dislike button's over there. Feel free to share the podcast with your friends. It will be appreciated. I have been your host, Aussie Evie, with the couple crazy people joining me. And
hey, we still totally maintain our sanity. What's wrong with you?
And we'll see you next month.